Snuffle. Mercy. We're here just a little bit early, but that's all right. I don't see why we can't just hang out and relax for a few minutes before we get started. Hey, Vitor. How you doing? Just a couple minutes. It's just about that time. Oh, we got 4 people in the stream now. Oh, this is great. Very exciting. Wait for it. Wait for it. Continue to wait for it. Tuck my chair away. All right, everyone, line up. It's just about time to jump into it. It's that time. Grab your weapon or whatever it is that you are practicing with, tuck it by your side, and let's get ourselves into it. Arte, ardore, onore. All right, warm up first. Eraser comes off. Start off with something nice and easy. Let's do a couple of footwork exercises. Get ourselves just a little bit mobile. Nice and tall in the chest. Nice and aligned in our hips. Nice, light, agile, advancing and retreating steps. You can, if you've got the space, you can make your advances and retreats kind of crosswise. We can go straight ahead We can make them lateral steps. We can make them lateral retreats, offline retreats, if you will, offline advances. We can add in passing steps, pass forward, pass back. We can take cross-line passes, making sure that as we step, we're maintaining that good alignment. Offline passes, cross-line passes. Tracing a nice little figure 8 pattern in my living room. We can work and add some triangle steps in. Advance, triangle, advance, triangle, advance, triangle, advance. Retreat. Good. Mix and match to your heart's content. Let's do that for just a couple of minutes. I'm going to do this right until my timer gets to 15:30. Doesn't matter so much what your hands are doing, just as long as they're doing something. Don't let them hang at your sides like you're a bored teenager. Keep them up. Keep them at your hips and engaged. Work through some of Fiore's unarmed post right now. You only have 6 more seconds. And let's rest a moment. Nice. That's feeling good in my legs, feeling good in my hips. As long as we got some time to do some work, we can even spend a little bit of time on the turns of the body. Developing our practice with them. You can do these with empty hands. You can do these with a sword in your hands. We can work on first. There we go. That's the right view. Volta Stabile. Working on a Volta Stabile that changes our facing. I go from facing my sword rack right over to facing my camera. This is all done on the balls of my feet. I can also do Volta Stabile to go from a forward weighted to a rear weighted posture. I'm weighted on my front leg, looking towards the camera. I'm weighted on my back leg, still looking towards the camera. Front leg, back leg. If I switch to the other side, I'm on my front leg, I'm on my back leg. I am still facing the same target. Nice and well aligned. An exercise that I'm fond of, if I do this with my Dona guards, is I can go from a front weighted posta di Dona, rear weighted posta di Dona, front weighted, change to my left shoulder, pivot so that now I'm facing forward with left posta di Dona. Rear weighted, front weighted, change facing, change shoulders. Rear weighted, front weighted, change face, change shoulders. Give another angle. Get a good look at it. There's one. Another one that I'm personally fond of. I will do likewise with Porta di Ferro into Coda Longa, into Porta di Ferro, into Dentale Cingara, into Cingara Mezzana, into Cingara. Porta di Ferro, rear weighted Coda Longa, Porta di Ferro, Dentale Cingara, Cingara Mezzana, Cingara. Let's try another angle. Cingara, Mezzana, Cingara, Porta di Ferro. Whee! We can work a lot of these same turns just with our sword. Volta Stabile. We can work Volta Stabile this way. Let me turn my Facebook off in my other window. There we go. Volta Stabile through my hands. And a Volta Stabile that takes me up to Finestra. Takes me up to Finestra. Can take me up to my other Finestra as well. We can work on Mezza Volta. Mezza Volta can be our disengage low. If you have a doorknob close to hand, you can practice around the doorknob. It's a good fine motor control. Other things that are just like hanging around in your house, feel free to use them as well. Disengage around my thermostat. Not even entirely convinced that it works. We can also do Mezza Volta that goes up, that goes over, turning up and over the weapon. You can just do the Mezza Volta with the blade flattened, but we might, if we imagine why we're doing this, we are probably making a turn over our partner's sword. As I make my turn over, I'm looking to get control of my partner's action. Then make sure that I've actually got some edge, get some leverage applied to the situation. So I tend to do my Mezza Voltas. And it looks like this. Add some lower body work to it. Triangle steps if you wish. This is optional. If the only place you think you have to what you think you have bandwidth for right now is turning your blade, just turn your blade. If that all feels very, very simple and intuitive, throw in some extras for it. Do it during a volta stabile. Do it with triangle steps, just like we were doing before. We can combine this with some of our other turns. Mezza volta, volta stabile. Mezza volta, volta stabile. You can use the mezza volta to help you move and transition through your cuts. You can see about a rising cut by mezza volta, fendente, sottano, fendente, sottano, fendente, sottano, fendente, sottano. And you can even, if you think you've got the space and you don't have to worry so much about wailing your ceiling, if I take myself a nice low posture and really think about a nice, close, conservative turn, we can start to work our tutta volta as well. Tutta volta and tutta volta. Is that thunder? Holy cats, that was thunder. I'm excited. I don't think I've heard a thunderstorm in the city in years. I'm tickled. Stream, if it turns into a raging thunderstorm, it might knock out some power. So don't panic if the stream goes down. I'm probably fine. Anyways, tutta volta and tutta volta, tutta volta and tutta volta. I describe these as being downward preparations because my sword moves down in order to make my descending cuts. We can have upward preparations where the blade moves up to deliver rising cuts. Blade moves up to deliver rising cuts. We can start to blend them together. I'm making sure that I am nice and careful about what's happening in my ceiling. And then you can start to link and vary these cuts together. You can start to think about ways that we can access thrust, mezza volta, tutta volta, mezza volta. Ways that we can get to each quadrant through these varying turns. And if you examine it carefully, you'll accidentally do the Meyer square at least a few times while you make your way through it. And try to go through every possible permutation of how we access each and every quadrant. I squealed with more joy than I realized when I first realized that I had accidentally found the Meyer square, just kind of by logicking through very basic turns. It's delicious to me. I think that puts us at I know, right? No, for real. There's some people in my ongoing longsword class that the first time I did this with, I said, okay, and then we can go from here and turn around and turn around and turn around, and then we can try going from each quadrant. And that's the Meyer square. Because we don't actually have it hanging up in the school anywhere. We don't. People have been told about it, and everyone kind of knows knows about it, but we don't use it as a regular training tool. It's cool to like happen on it. Let's move along. We're into the Gioco stretto this month. We're thinking, and the way that we understand the Gioco stretto with the longsword is a little different than say Fiore describes it, or at least the plays that Fiore shows for the Gioco stretto in his manuscript. We think about it in perhaps the more Bolognese way, where we're thinking about kind of the tactical options of our blades. Fiore's Gioco stretto, he's usually showing us wrestles and grapples. He is thinking of this kind of in terms of what's dangerous and quickly accessible. But that's a discussion we'll look at it. We'll look at it another time. We're not going to take a look at wrestles. We're going to take a look at some thrusting. We're going to spend a bit of time on some thrusting mechanics. We're going to talk a little bit about the guards that we use with the thrust, what Fiore says about them, and then that should carry us pretty handily towards the end of the class. So first, let's think about just the thrust by itself, just by rote. Grab your sword or sword-like object, a stick, a spoon, a ladle, a broom pole. We'll start in the posta breve, and we'll just work the extension by itself. Getting into that nice posta longa. Not one with our elbows out, but our elbows are nice and downward. You can give yourself a little extension at the knees. Make sure you're not letting your hips rock back. Stay in a nice posture that you want. Make sure the things that you are doing right now. I'd say just like for apprentices, do things that fit within the canon of guard postures. For scholars, free scholars, mostly for the scholars. Be sure that the things you are doing purposefully. Make sure by the time you make your way into scholar and free scholar, you probably have a decent idea of what needs to be done. Just be sure that if you are doing something that's like off book, make sure that that there is a reason for your doing it. Make sure if you're stepping back kind of into this rockaway, make sure it's taking you all the way back into like a Chingara Metsana, and make sure that you are meaning to move back into that half boar's tooth, not full half. Does that make sense? I hope it does. We can work this out, work our lunges with a lunging step. Work our thrusts with a lunging step. Work your order. Make sure that it is full extension of the weapon and then stepping in behind it. And perhaps even full passes. You can do this by switching your feet. Let's do that for a few minutes. If you feel your shoulders hunching, take a second to relax them. If you feel yourself doing it wrong, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. Do it better in the next ones. And with passing steps. Making sure that our recoveries are the exact opposite of our lunges. Reach, strike, step, recover our arms. Nice. Very good. Let's relax for just a moment. Feeling a little warm. This is good. Next piece of the puzzle. We can start to thrust from our other guards. Dentale Chingara, posta breve, posta longa, thrust. Doesn't matter which of these thrusts you're doing. Just so long as we are doing them deliberately and in a nice, clean order. Yeah, right on. Can we do it from the high guards? Certainly. I don't see why not. With Finestra, gotta make sure we get that reach, turn into posta longa, and then step. Reach, turn into posta longa, and then step. There we go. Reach. All right, that's looking pretty good. Everything making sense? Everyone following along well? Take a second for the chat to respond. Yes, very good. Oh, hello, Aaron. I'm not sure I know you. Welcome to the stream. Glad to see you here. Good. All right, awesome. Last thing that we can that we'll take a look on. We got about 5 minutes left in this portion of the class, anyways. We can start to think about these as some compound actions. We can start to think about what our partners may be doing to us as we approach them, because we are approaching the Gioco stretto this month. As we walk towards our partners, we're certainly. I'm imagining that there's sword sticking out right literally here. So I'm trying to displace that weapon and strike my partner. My partner might try to push my tip out of the way, in which case I'm going to reach, disengage, cover the other side, advance, strike. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at that again. That is reach, disengage, cover, strike. My partner might be pushing me just a little when I get just a little bit deeper. My partner might be catching me a little bit closer to my mezza spada. So we'll be turning that mezza volta over the weapon to strike. I can think of this as starting not just from the inside crossing, but also from an outside crossing, where first I am moving from my inside, disengaging to cover the outside, and striking. I may move over to starting with outside crossing, disengaging, and striking on the inside. Let's try a few of those on each side. Let's start on the inside. Reach, disengage, cover, strike. Start on the outside. Reach, disengage, cover, strike. Good. Good. Let's assume that they get us a little bit closer this time. Let's take a very short step. Mezza volta over and strike. My partner has pushed me at the middle of my blade. Turn over and strike. Let's do just a few more. Kind of like that. We might. That's assuming that they push on us. You might even, if you know the responses to a partner who is attempting to disengage under or over your sword, dependent on your measure, you can imagine those. Failing that, you don't really got to worry about it too much right now. You'll get lots out of just cultivating some very basic order. One thing that's worth considering in the first iteration of the drills that I did, where I imagined someone pushing at my tip, was that I was making sure to keep my feet still until I was certain I had control over my partner's invisible sword. See that again. Reach, disengage, control, and from the control, I deliver my strike. All right. That's a nice way. That's a nice 30 minutes of moving the swords around. Join me over in the Discord in just a couple minutes, and I'm going to spend a bit of time chatting about the Gioco, what we call the Gioco stretto guards, the guards that have the point in line, posta breve, posta longa, posta bicornu, and both of our posta finestri, and talking about how we use them and what Fiore says about them. Thank you all so much for joining once again. This is at all times very exciting. I really quite enjoy this. Let me know if you what you like about the format. Let me know if there's anything that you want to see covered. If not, maybe in another class, maybe in its own separate set of streams or videos. I am always happy to oblige all of you and to provide content. Check out Duello.tv to learn more. And if you're a member of the studio, you should have access to the Discord. So feel free to jump in and check us out. Let's line it up weapons by our side. Thank you all once again. We're getting to the center of the frame here. Thank you all once again for joining in. I really appreciate your doing so, and I'll see you all online and back in the studio once all this blows over. And we say, arte, ardore, onore. Thank you all so much. Chat with you in Discord in just a moment.